What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Respectfully. I am your host, Cameron Farmer, and today I have a very special guest with me. That is none other than SEC all freshman team person. You get what I'm trying to say. Miss Bianna Muoneke, how are you?
I'm good. I'm
Good.
doing well.
Good. Yeah, I wanted to have you on because this is part of my feature writing sort of thing for the Red and Black, but I also wanted to have you on because I know how instrumental you've been to this program and to this university. Just kind of talk a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and who you are.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Texas girl. My dad went to Texas, so I grew up a Longhorn, so I really have that Texas rooted in me. But I am a pre-med sociology major. And so I'm really like locked into school and volleyball. I'm really big about balancing both. So I put the student and student athlete, I'd say. But yeah, like I'm a second generation African. My mom was born and raised in Congo, and my dad is first generation. His parents are from Nigeria. So there's a lot of culture going around in my household. So I think it's pretty cool where I come from.
Yeah. No. How is it? How have your parents been able to teach you about your African heritage and pride being in America?
Yeah, so my mom actually, like, my grandma lived with us for a little bit because in Africa it's really big. Like, my mom's parents are supposed to stay with us and like teach us and stuff. So my mom, like, I grew up speaking my mom's language and all that stuff. Grew up eating the food. Like, I love fufu. Like, I eat the food all the time.
Yeah.
So even though we're in America, they like definitely like embedded all of what they came from into us. So I think that's really important.
What are some of your favorite African dishes that you've eaten?
Okay, yes. So okra soup.
Oh.
It's basically just okras and like okra and then into like a soup, and it's
Sure.
like really sticky, and then you're supposed to eat it with fufu with your hand. So like it's really messy, but it's one of my favorite African dishes. It's a Nigerian dish.
With your hands?
So good.
Your hands
Yeah.
not sticky?
Yeah, your hands get really sticky, but it's nasty to eat. Like you're not supposed to eat it like on a first date, but it's good.
Yeah, no, I have to try that because my mom has been wanting to get me to dive deeper into my culture.
Mhm.
I'm American,
Mhm.
so I only know cheeseburgers and hot dogs, but that's not the point. But I really have been trying to learn more about Africa and where I came from and stuff like that. But yeah, so your dad,
Mhm.
your dad did your dad? You said your dad played basketball at Texas,
Yes.
right? Okay,
UT, yeah.
and in doing my research, not stalking Mr. Muoneke, but in doing my research, your dad, like in his last two seasons of Texas, playing basketball for Texas, he was like their top two scorer.
Mhm.
Did he ever have any dream? I know like he's not here for me to ask him this, but did he ever have any dreams of going professional? Did you know that or?
Yeah, he played pro. I lived in China, France, Spain, and Korea because my dad played pro over there.
Okay.
He played a little bit in the NBA, not long. He played for a couple different teams for the Rockets and for the Pistons. And then he went and played overseas for a really long time before retiring. So I lived in all those countries, and that's a part of why like I'm so like into culture and language because I grew up in different cultures.
Sure.
So I think that's really cool. But yeah, he played pro for a very long time before he started his petroleum engineering company.
That's really, really cool. I had to ask because, like I said, when in looking up your dad and your family, I was just like, wow, like Bianna really comes from an athletic family. So I was just like, I wanted to see where she gets her genes from, and she got it from her dad.
Yes.
So you being from Texas, Cypress, Texas, which is about 30 minutes out from Houston. I read the Atlas growing up as a kid, so please don't blame my approximate knowledge about that.
I love it.
But Cypress, and Houston in totality, how important or significant has your hometown been into helping you become the player and the person that you are?
Yeah, I think just there's so much support, and my town has a lot of like big time athletes there. So everybody kind of just like embraces it and just loves on us. The quarterback at Texas A&M, Connor, I grew up like 2 houses away from him.
Really?
Yeah. So, and my brother's there. Like we've had so many good athletes come out of Cyprus, and just the community itself has really embraced like having people from their hometown go big. And I think it's so cool. I went to Cypress Ranch High School.
Mm-hmm.
Love that high school. The community there were just unreal. I wasn't zoned there. We ended up going there just because like my parents loved that school so much, and my brother played basketball over there first, and then I just followed him.
Yeah.
And best decision ever. Like I
Wow.
left my friends, and then I just came over there and made new ones. But yeah, the community there is just unreal.
Yeah. And you talked about your high school. It was a Cypress Ranch
Yes.
high school. You said that you really loved it. You weren't zoned there. Your parents allowed you to drive to and from your house to that school. Like what about the school made you really fall in love? Made you and your family fall in love with it? Just for you to not be zoned there and just go there. Period.
For sure. Well, the volleyball team one was really good. They just got a new coach. Like the coach came in the same year that I did, so we came in together. And she actually left when I did, so we were there same time, like all 4 years. But Coach Woodward, love her. She really impacted my decision to go there too, because I talked to her. I was like, look, I want to play for a very competitive program, and I want to go to a good environment. And she sold me. And the academics at Ranch too was great. Like I graduated top 10 in my class, and it was super difficult. But yeah, everything about Ranch was just perfect for me. It was a great fit. Plus, blue and gold, can't go wrong. Love the colors.
Blue and gold, man. You ain't got nothing wrong with that. But yeah, no, that's really good. And the reason why I asked that is because I know how much Texas means to you, your hometown means to you, things of that nature. Once you finished your senior year at Cypress, you committed to Texas A&M. Talk about your first year playing there. And as the start of your volleyball, not the start of your volleyball career, but just talk about your first year playing at Texas A&M.
Yeah, so I committed under Bird. I grew a relationship with her for 2 years, and I was super excited to play there. But we had a coaching staff switch, which was great too. And then I went there, and I feel like for every freshman, just adjusting to college in general is really difficult. But I went in early, and that was the best decision I've ever made. So I got to adapt a little bit before the season started. Freshman year, I think I had a good freshman year, especially being so young. I came into college at 17, so I had a lot of maturing to do. But I think that going in early one, and then just getting to do what a lot of little girls just don't get to do. A lot of people my age just don't get to do. It was a privilege. And I'm super grateful for my first year. I wouldn't change anything. I learned so much. I've grown so much as an athlete, and I feel like ultimately it led me here at Georgia. So
yeah, no, absolutely. So after you finished your first year at Texas, you hopped in the Texas A&M rather. You hopped in the transfer portal. You came here, and you talked about when you came last spring, just to adapt to everybody, your teammates rather, Coach Black, his coaching staff. How did that adjustment work with you and your family? How did your family adjust to you being halfway across the country away from them and your friends?
Yeah, so it was definitely difficult just because I went to college an hour from my house. I grew up super close to my family. So when I came on a visit here, I was really hoping I'd like Georgia. It's in the SEC. It's a great school. I was recruited by a bunch of Texas schools as well. But I mean, I heard about Tom Black. I played against his program, so I knew this was a great school to look at. So I came here, and my parents were a little bit apprehensive at the beginning just because it was so far, but they loved Georgia, loved Athens. And then after I got back from my visit, I had a talk with my dad, because my dad, me and my dad are super, super close.
Sure.
So it was really hard on him because he kind of saw I was leaning towards Georgia. He wanted me to kind of look at these other Texas schools, but I was leaning towards Georgia. So I had a talk with him, and I was like, look, I feel it in my heart that Georgia's where I'm supposed to be. Everything about it, it fits me perfectly, and I know it's super far, but we're going to make it work, and I'm going to accomplish big things, and I'm going to make sure that you're proud of me. So we had that talk. He was like, okay, well, you do your thing, and I'm going to support you. And my mom has literally never missed a home game. He flies her out all the time. My brother's in Wisconsin, so he goes to my brother a lot, and then she comes to me. So my parents are literally split. But my mom has never missed a home game. So,
wow, yeah. That's amazing. In covering for the Red and Black, and obviously asking you questions and after some games and stuff like that, I never knew that. I always imagined that your parents would watch it on TV, because a lot of your games would be on SEC Network. But to hear that your mom is here in person every home game, that's amazing. What does that mean to you to know that your parents you know, even though you and your brother are, in different states, different parts of the country, how does it mean? What does it mean to you to know that your parents are making that conscious effort to be present for both of you all and your other siblings?
Yeah, it means so much to me. It just shows like how lucky I am to have the parents that I do have. Like just seeing my mom in the stands just makes me feel more comfortable. Like always, like she was at they were at every single Texas A&M game, so she wanted me to feel the same, even though I was so far away. She still wanted me to see somebody that I knew and loved in the stands.
Right.
So them just making that sacrifice, because I do have two younger siblings that my sister's in high school, my little brother's in middle school. Them like just having to leave them to come to me, like it just means so much. And my family has really just like adapted and like grown, just to like fit this need that we have two siblings in two different states across the country, and everybody's just kind of adjusted and like understood that like this is our new reality and we love them and we're just going to make it work. So I'm super grateful to have the family that I do have. They're so incredibly supportive, and I don't know what I would do if they weren't my family, really.
I understand. I understand wholeheartedly. I could just tell how your parents have invested a lot into you and your siblings, and just seeing that emotion come out. And my mom is always supportive as well. I like to think that my parents are supportive. Even though they're only like an hour and a half away, but you get the idea.
Nice.
You know what I mean? But when you go in depth about how supportive your parents have been from the beginning, right?
Yeah.
And it puts a lot of things into perspective. How much you and a lot of Georgia student athletes families are instrumental in their development. So yeah, I want to kind of jump ship, and I appreciate you for saying that, because like I said, I wanted to establish with our audience the human, right? At the center of every sport is the athlete, and at the center of every athlete is the human. So I wanted to introduce you to our audience regarding that.
I love that.
UGA. You came to UGA last year. When Coach Black recruited you in his process in recruiting you, how did he make it known to you and your family that you were going to be a significant part of this program? Not just team, but this program. And a lot of people don't know the difference between that. But how did he make it known to you that you are valued, you are important, we see significance in you?
Yeah, well, he painted a picture pretty early on. I came in, with 3 years of eligibility, and I still have 2 more left. And he just kind of just showed me like, this is not just for this year. Like, this is what I'm going to do for you for the next 3 years. And that's really important to me, because a lot of coaches are kind of, they're what can you do for me now mentality, which is, the new sports reality. But he kind of painted that picture for me from now and until 2027. So that was really important for me, because I wanted to be a part of a program that made a big impact, and I wanted to help that. So he like laid it out for me. He was very blunt. He was really straightforward with what he wanted me to do, get better at, all that stuff. And I was like, this is what I want to be a part of. Like he is. I felt that he was going to make me a better player and person in the long run, and that was really important for me.
Yeah, I agree. I see, whenever you guys call a timeout, right, and during a game, and I could just see how it's like whenever there's adversity, Coach Black is probably the calmest person on the court. Like it's like straight face, like like I'm Batman, like you know what I mean. And it's just, but he recognizes the urgency, and he instills that into you guys. When you talk about how he painted that picture for you early, right? A lot of coaches have that "what can you do for me now" mentality. How important is it for you, development, right? Like you said, a lot of coaches have that "what can you do for me now? I want to win championships now." But you also recognize that it takes time to do that.
Yeah.
How important is it for you to be fully developed as the athlete that you're growing into be, and the person that you're growing into be?
Yeah, it's so important for me. Like, I feel like I'm more than an athlete. Like, I have faith. I have strong faith. I have family that supports me. So my thing is like, yes, I'm a player, but I'm also a person too. And I wanted a coach that invested in that, like really, like just as much as my volleyball, like also as a person. And Tom just does that beyond belief. Like he has weekly meetings with me. He checks up on me, like outside of volleyball, like not even talking about volleyball. It's just like, how are you? And I love that, because that at the end of the day helps me on the court. If I know that my coach cares about me through and through, no matter what my performance is. He cares about me no matter what. And he has shown me that. I've had bad games, I've had bad days, and he's still the same person. And I think that's huge. And that's what I wanted and I found. So, really grateful for that.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. You talked about how are you, right? How
Mhm.
coaches check in, have those mental check ins. Obviously, my first time being exposed to athletes being more than athletes was in
Mhm.
2020.
Yeah.
So, my final year at Kennesaw State University, I was an intern with Student Athletic Success Services, and I came into contact with different student athletes. Hey,
Mhm.
how are you doing? And then last year, I was a graduate assistant at Rankin.
Mhm.
So I was just coming into contact with different student athletes. How are you doing? And so to hear you say that Coach Black has he sees the person in you, the
Mhm.
human inside of you. Not a lot of coaches have the capacity to do that. And for you, I commend that on behalf of Coach Black. Don't forget to tell him. Hey, there's a little journalist said he commends you for being able to see the
I
human
got you.
inside the athletes. So yeah, I kind of want to jump ship to
Mhm.
your teammates, right? I been covering you guys all season long, and I really can just tell the sisterhood that you
Mhm.
all have established within the locker room. Um, what was the first thing you noticed about your teammates when you first met them when you
Mhm.
touched down here in Athens?
So I'm a very transparent person. Like
Mm,
I will either say something that's true or I won't say it at all.
yeah,
So for me, when I got here, immediately I called my mom and I was like, "Mom, they're all friends."
yeah,
Like there wasn't really any like clicking. It was just like everybody was just like friends. Like, hey, like
right,
let's go here, let's go there, like let's hang out. There was just like a mixture, and I loved that because like with girls sports, it's everything gets really clicky. Like that's been forever. Like
yeah,
since I played volleyball. So when I got here, everybody was just, super close and like abnormally close. Like everybody
right.
just like loves each other.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is cool. Cause like your first week here, you're kind of quiet. You're
Mm,
kind of just like feeling everything out.
mm,
So I kind of just sat back and just really observed everything. And I was like, oh, like they are very, very close. Like
yeah,
they look like they genuinely love each other. Like even if volleyball wasn't a thing, like I think that our team would still like be in contact, still hang out, like
right,
because I hang out with these girls every day and I don't get tired of them, like
right.
sometimes, but just kidding. But
No, I hear you. I
that's
hear
the
you.
first thing I noticed that like everybody like is super like vulnerable with each other,
Right.
super honest, and that's what makes it so easy for everyone to just be friends with everyone else.
Yeah.
And I think that's so huge and so important. So that's one of the first things I noticed.
Yeah, no, it's funny you say that. Krissa Blakely, shout out Krissa. She was in my crisis comm class last
Mhm.
spring, and like I would always sit next to her in the back.
Mhm.
And the only reason, and this is a side note, the only reason why Krissa isn't here is because it's a conflict of interest. Because I knew her before all of this,
Yeah.
so it's like, dang, I can't even interview her. But Krissa is one of the funniest people
She
I have
is.
ever met in my entire
She
life,
is.
man. Like it's crazy, but yeah. So obviously on the court, right? You all compete at a high level.
Mhm.
You are one of the leading scorers on the team. Not scorers, kill makers
Mhm.
on the team, along with Sophie Fisher and Erica Lovett. How do you all? And I feel like I've asked you this before. You all like play like a Batman and Robin role. Like I'm not even like Sean was there. Like I remember you. Like I think you all played like a Batman and Robin role. Like
Mhm.
one night it could be Sophie, the
Mhm.
other night it could be you, the next night it could be Erica, or one night it could be like the Justice League, like going full ham. You know what I mean?
I love that.
So how have you all been able to different play styles, but how have you all been able to create a synergy with those different play styles on the
Yeah.
court?
I think we're able to get vulnerable with each other when we know we're not doing something. Like if I'm not passing like how it should be, or Erica's not like, and vice versa. Like we
Mm,
all just like come to each other like, hey, look, like I'm not doing this, but you got me here, and just like, yeah, I got you here.
yeah,
And me and Erica being outside hitters, we like talk a lot, like because we're playing against the same blockers. Like one person's in the front row while the other's in the back, and then we switch. So we'll talk like, hey, like you have this shot, or you stand here on defense. And I feel like I told Erica this, that we have like a wavelength thing going on.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I just know like we'll hold each other's hands and we'll just like no. And that's like, so like I love having that connection with my other outside. And I think the fact that she's older than me too like really helps, because she's like, we call her Sage.
LOL.
We
LOL.
but she has that like, old vibe, but she knows what she's doing. Like she's
Right.
been doing this for 5 years.
Right.
So I trust her a lot. And she told me that she feels like I have like a old person's like mind too. So she like, we just have like that built-in trust for each other. We're not going to steer each other wrong.
Yeah.
And then Sophie being our middle, like we're blocking with her. So we also have that connection with her. Like, look, like I'll close the block here, you help me here. And we just have that trade-off. And I think we've really like established that connection because we're able to be so open and honest with each other. Like, hey, look, like you're not doing this, but I got you here. And
Right.
same thing. So we just have those conversations, and it's all out of love, and we know that. So we're able to have that dialogue with each other.
I agree. I'm just noticing, like I said, how you guys just create that synergy and that mental connection that not everybody sees. Throughout SEC play, you all have been through a lot of decisive 5 sets. And what's the mindset, right? When you obviously you and the opponent win 2 teams apiece, or two wins apiece, excuse me. What's the mindset going into that 5th set? Like, how do you all maintain your composure? How do you all maintain your poise? Because this is like, like this is the last set of the game, and I don't know who's gonna win, but we're gonna give it our all. Like, what's that mindset going into that 5th set?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of like calmness, a little bit of discipline, and a lot of dog mentality. Because at the end of the day, the 5th set, everybody's tired. So it's about who can not be tired the quickest, like who can like sustain themselves for another 15 points.
Sure.
And I think that's really important for us. Just like we've lost some 5 sets, and 10K day we won against South Carolina. And for us, like we knew we took that dip, but we came out in that 5th set with that dog mentality, with discipline. And we just, we've trained for moments like this. Shout out Sean. He really got us right with summer training. But yeah, so I think just a little bit of all of that. Going into 5th set, we just have that like crunch time mentality. And I think it's helped us. And sometimes like we have a little bit of too like much excitement, and it kind of like we kind of lose the discipline part of it. And that's why you've seen us lose games sometimes. But I think we've really like nailed down how to stay disciplined, stay hungry, and also, play our game.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I've told this to a lot of my colleagues, like their record is not indicative of their play. Like you all, in my opinion, and not to sound subjective, but the play that you all have put on the entire season, top SEC play right there. And I feel like y'all are in the same rooms as the Kentuckys, the Texases, but obviously I know you all do a great job of not comparing yourselves to different teams, because you all are on your own journey. How would you describe your first season being, obviously as we're getting to the final weeks of the season before the national tournament or NCAA tournament? How would you describe your first season being a Bulldog?
Honestly, like you said, the record hasn't really shown what has been going on, but this has been the most fun year for me. I got hurt in the middle of the season, which wasn't great, but I feel like my teammates really rallied around me, and we just rallied for each other. Truly, like I'm so excited for the next few years, and that's what people like need to remember. Like we have years to come. Like this isn't it. And I just, obviously we didn't have the result that we wanted, but this has truly been like such an eye-opening experience for me, that there is like hope no matter what. Like things get better. Obviously like winning is great, but at the end of the day, like developing a sisterhood, developing a strong connection with your girls and your coaches, that is the most important thing, because that's what's going to get you those wins. And this is a new team, we're a young team, and obviously we suffered with a lot of injuries, so much adversity this year, which is kind of like a thing that is reflecting our record, and which is fine. And we're still learning, we're still growing. This is just a part of like our journey, but this has truly been the best year ever for me. Like I've made friendships that are going to last a lifetime. Obviously I still have so many years with the coaching staff, so I'm not going to say goodbye yet because I have so much time, but
Yeah.
my seniors, like truly like the best seniors ever, like best group of seniors. Just, they know how to lead. They know how to guide this team. I'm still going to talk to them like and annoy them, blow up their phone in the years to come. So they need to prepare.
Yeah.
But this year, like I'm so excited for the future, even though we're not winning right now. That doesn't, I mean, we're going to learn from it. And the future is going to be so great just because this year's been awesome.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes. People don't see it, but it's happening.
It's happening. No, I concur, man. I think you all have something special, and quite honestly, if you ask me, like I said, obviously in covering the games and just being there, I really see the sisterhood on the court. And again, you all, in my opinion, I think you all are truly worthy of being at the top of SEC standings. So my last couple questions, because we're almost at the 30-minute mark. My last couple questions are, what how would you what's one word to describe um what is the one word you would describe next season? What should UGA fans look forward to next season?
I think fire. I think that's that we just talked about a quote from one of these people that Tom was talking about, but A on fire, which is just like the term, just like you got to play like your butt is on fire, like you got something to lose, like you want to prove something. And I think next year, like I wouldn't say shock because we have the talent and we have like the connection, so I don't think it's going to shock people, but I think it's just going to be like in your face like a fire, like it's just gonna like you're gonna feel the heat from us. And I think next year, like we have spring and the rest of this year we're going to get so much better. We're going to learn, we're going to grow, and we're going to come back super strong. And I'm really excited for next year. I'm not going to go too much into detail, got to save it for 2025.
Right,
but
right.
Yeah.
Yo, absolutely. And it stinks because I'm graduating in the spring, so I mean, I have YouTube TV, SEC Network.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. So I guess, and I should have asked this like when we were discussing your journey being here at UGA. How had the veterans like Sophie, Krissa, and Erica? How have they been um, important to you? How have they helped you, guide you along throughout your first year here?
Yeah, well, Sophie was my host on my visit.
Cool.
One, so she gave me all the juicy deets about how much I'm gonna love the program and the girls. So she really, and her just being SEC Player of the Year, that really helped. I mean, just having that talk with her, that was really cool. So she was part of the reason why I came here. And then when I got here, KB's my roommate. So we have done everything together. And then Erica kind of joined the club. So Erica's basically our third like honorary roommate, but not really. But they have like literally like they're my sisters, like truly. Like I wouldn't say any other words besides like they are my sisters. And like they just, like I said, like I'm super big on honesty, and that's like the biggest thing that they've given me, which I love transparency. And that was one of the reasons why I just like fell in love with my girls. Like they're just amazing, they're so transparent and honest. And that's one thing about me, like even if the truth is hard to hear, like tell it to me because it's going to grow our bond. And I feel like Erica, she's super honest. Erica is super super honest, and that's my girl, that's my twin. We're outside buddies together. She's my outside buddy for life. And I think that just like they've given that to me, like little sister vibes, but also like holding me to a high standard. So yeah, they're my sisters, and I'm gonna miss them so much next year. But yeah,
absolutely. These last two questions, and I really love what you said. My last two questions are, or this one rather. How important is it for you to play? Obviously, you're one of the top athletes in the SEC regarding volleyball, and then you have a lot of accolades, and rightfully so. But how do you put all of that to the side and you play for you? You play for the love of the game. You play for your teammates. You play for your family. How do you put all of those accolades, those rightfully deserved accolades, to the side, and you focus on the important aspect, and that's winning? How do you focus on that?
Yeah, I think just purpose. Like I started playing volleyball at a super young age, and I fell in love with it, and love got me to keep playing. But just having that purpose and that just want to grow and be better, that's what kept me playing, and getting better. And for me, it's like I have a purpose. I want to win, and I want to be a part of a team that like cares about each other, and we care about winning. And I think just coming here, like we've had a good balance of all of that. And for me, just like having that sisterhood, having that, the people to lean on, that's super, super important. And I think just like setting all that away and having, tunnel vision to what we want at the end of the day, which is good relationships and dubs. And I think that, all that at the end of the day doesn't matter. And it doesn't come unless you're a part of a solidified group at the end of the day. Like a singular person can't just, get it all, but you have to do it with your team. And I think that like all of it comes along the way. But you got to get there to get it,
Right.
so.
Right. I agree wholeheartedly. Just because you mentioned purpose and you talked about, and that I kind of heard your why and why you play the way that you do. My last question is to all to the young women out there. What is your advice to all of the young female athletes who desire to play this game at a high level? Obviously, SEC is a league competition. What is your advice to anybody who wants to pursue this sport and be the best of the best and just compete at a high level?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to struggle. It's going to be really hard. And I think for me, growing up, volleyball is a predominantly white sport. So seeing girls that look like me on TV was really difficult. So now that I'm older and I'm on this stage, I just feel so fortunate that little girls that look like me can turn on the TV and see someone that looks like them playing at this stage. And it's possible and you can do it. And, sometimes I used to cry so much when I was a little kid. I was like, Mom, like, I'm not gonna get here. Like it's so difficult. It's really hard. Like adversity is real. Being in the minority is a real thing, and it's really really hard. But for me to just be like, here is how you can do it right here. This is the girl right here. This is why you can make it because I did. And you're gonna struggle, and it's gonna be difficult, and you're gonna want to give up. But at the end of the day, like proving all those people wrong and doing what you always dreamed of and doing what's in your heart, that's the most important thing. And having faith and getting there and never stopping believing in yourself, that's what's going to get you there. So for me, like I just feel fortunate, like now like the game is growing, like everybody of all colors and everyone's playing volleyball, everyone loves the game. So I think that just trusting yourself, believing in yourself, and anything's possible. And it doesn't matter what you look like, you can get here because I did. And so many of people like that look like me got here too. So
Absolutely no, and it's a pleasure to see just a fraction, a microcosm of what you've been able to do. And just because when I started covering volleyball, I was like, I'm gonna suck at this. I don't even know anything about volleyball, but just kind of just, and as a journalist, it's hard because I am a sports guy. Like
Yeah.
I love sports, and it's hard not having to say, "Let's go, Bianna! Let's go! Oh my God, Erica has bunnies! Oh my goodness! Like, bro, what?" It's hard. It's hard doing that, but I'm trying to keep it in just a little bit.
Self control.
You know what I mean? Just trying to reel it in, but yeah, I really love the answers that you gave. But I'm not gonna keep you too long because Bianna has homework. I don't. So I'm not going to keep you too long, but
good.
it is truly an honor and a pleasure to have this small amount of time just to talk to you, just to pick your brain about you as a person, your family, your teammates, but more importantly, just your purpose, why you're here, and yeah. Do you have anything you would like to add? To the part, you want to say hi to mom and dad? I don't know if they'll see this, but
hi parents. I hope you all do. But thank you for interviewing me. This has been great, and as always, go dogs.
Go dogs. Horns down. Respectfully, Mr. Muoneke, I am sorry. Charge it to my head, not my heart.
He'll be good. He'll be fine.
We're good. All right, guys. Be safe. Bye, guys.
Bye.